First, you need to open InDesign.
You got a fast car, I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose.
Then you need to go to File, New, Documents, and adjust the settings to digital publishing. The settings are already adjusted for iPad, so you don't need to change them. I just like to start with my portrait first, so I've selected portrait, and the bleed and slug settings can be left as normal, and then you press OK.
Then it saves a little bit of money, you won't have to drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs, finally see what it means to be living.
PSD. This is Photoshop's raw editable file. This is not what you'd want to save your file as if you wish to export it for use in other softwares. You'd only want to save it as this if you wanted to save your Photoshop document for later editing. AI. This is Illustrator's raw editable file. This is not what you'd want to save your file as if you wish to export it for use in other softwares. You'd only save it as an AI if you wanted to save your Illustrator document for later editing. INDD. This is InDesign's raw editable file. This is not what you'd want to save your file as if you wish to export it for use in other softwares. You'd only save it as an INDD if you wish to save your InDesign document for later editing. PNG. This is a type of file compression used for images. You can use PNG compression when changing a Photoshop or Illustrator or any form of imagery software file in order to be able to transfer it easier. PNG files are lossless, which means they don't lose any quality while editing. They also have the option for a transparent layer with the exception of PNG 8. This makes it much easier for designers to be able to use these images. JPEG or JPG is a form of compressing imagery in order to be able to transfer the data easier. They can be relatively small in size and still have the same crisp quality as it would the original image. However, unlike PNG, there's not an option for a transparent layer. In comparison to other forms of compression for imagery, JPEG pictures can have a lesser quality to that than of PNG.
Streets so fast, feel like I was drunk. City lights lay out before, so yeah, I'm feeling nice right.
I open my InDesign file. Here's the final product. But I had to use other softwares to create different assets. So here's my Photoshop file, where I edited a picture of a thumbnail, which would then go into my final iPad magazine. Here I save it as a PNG under an appropriate name. And I press OK. And then I go back to my InDesign file, and as you can see here, where I've then put it in, and I can just demonstrate what it was then used for. It was then used as a thumbnail for various different videos in which I created a then really cool scrollable frame. So there you can see how I've used different softwares to create different assets for the final product.
I had a feeling I could be someone.
Points are places of relevance in a shape or image. You can use them to create shapes or underline important facts. Lines are where 2 points join together to create a 180-degree angle. Polygons are shapes with depth. They are made up of multiple vertices, faces, and edges. You use them to create more complex shapes as borders or as accents to an image.
Loving can hurt. Loving can hurt sometimes, but it's the only thing that I know. when it gets hard, you know it can get hard sometimes. It is the only thing that makes us feel alive. We keep this love in a photograph. We make these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing, our hearts are never broken, and time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet, and you won't ever be alone. Wait for me to come home. Loving can heal, loving can mend your soul, and it's the only thing that I know. I swear it will get easier. Remember that with every piece of you. And it's the only thing we take with us when we die. We keep this love in its photograph. We made these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing, our hearts were never broken, time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. And if you hurt me, that's okay, baby. Only words, please. Inside these pages, you just hold me. I won't ever let you go. Wait for me to come home. 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 Oh, you can fit me inside the necklace you got when you were 16.
So here is my folios, and I've named it DIY Gabriella. And then I'll press this page 2, and here I can preview what it would look like.
Inside these pages, you just hold me. I won't ever let you go. When I'm away, I will remember how you kissed me.
So as you can see here, I have one of my assets, which is a bag that I created for my decor page. And as you can see here, I've had the settings on RGB. And the reason I've done that is because RGB works so well with digital. What this is just color settings. So by using RGB for digital, I know the colors will come out much fuller, much more bright, much more bold for a screen. If I was, however, to create something for print, I would have the settings to CMYK. And what this does is it just the most suitable settings color-wise for the ink and the printer, etc. Usually when you, for example, if you was to accidentally use CMYK for digital, the colors wouldn't come out that nice. It'd be very dull, it'd be very bland, not very bright for your screen, and you wouldn't actually get the color you'd intended originally on the final product. And the same really goes with RGB for print. The colors will come out much more tangy, much more neon, and unless that's the look you're going for, I mean, the original color that you had set about using on Photoshop won't be the color that comes out of the printer. And that's why you have to use different color modes for different things.
Side to side, you know how a nigga feel about wasting time. You know how I feel about waiting in line. You know he ain't it, girl, you're wasting your time. You're only this young for a moment in time. Take it in stride.
So here you can see opens in Photoshop. I have one of my assets, which is a pink and purple backpack. And after then creating it, I go to File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as a PNG in a folder which I've named Assets. And this Assets folder is in a folder within a folder called iPAD, Pages and Assets. So as you can see, I've organized very clearly where all my things are. So I have from my first page, my front cover, second page, my story, my advert, and all of the assets that I would be using for those pages I've inserted into this assets folder, and that is where I'm going to save my asset. Keeping it organized like this makes it super duper easy so that when I open InDesign, I'm able to find the asset I want quickly and put it into my InDesign file.